I'm so glad you're here. I'm Kate Champion. I'm an author, therapist, and generally curious human whose life has been full of ups and downs, twists and turns, mess and adventures, some intentional and some not so much. Welcome to Living Big Mindfully, a later in life podcast. Here are 3 questions for you. Are you ready? Are you in midlife or beyond? Or maybe struggling with next steps or finding your feet? Possibly feeling like something's missing, not quite right with your life? Or maybe you have a sense that you're really not living your own truth. Okay, you're right, that was way more than 3 questions. But were there any yes answers? Yeah? Okay, fantastic. That means that you are in the right place and this is the show for you. So grab a seat, get comfy, and join us for inspiring, heartfelt conversations. Conversations with real people just like you and me. Listen in as we chat about life, love, health, healing, and thriving well into our later years. And let's commit to creating honest, fulfilling lives and giving a high five to living big mindfully. One more thing. Make sure you visit katechampionauthor.com. Check out Never Too Late and You Are Limitless, my best-selling books. And while you're there, be sure to download your free hiking guide. And remember, check out our Living Big Mindfully community on Facebook. And please share your favorite episode with your friends. Thank you so much. Okay, that is enough for me. Are you ready? Great. Then let's dive in. In today's episode of Living Big Mindfully, we are discussing the fascinating topic of Reiki, harnessing our intuition, and changing patterns that no longer serve us. I am super excited to be bringing you this conversation with Cindy Meckler. Cindy is a certified natural healing arts mentor and psychic spiritual teacher. And if you're looking for a jumping off point to get started on your healing journey, keep listening. Listen in and learn about how you can step into your courage, enhance your confidence, and how we can begin to reframe failure and work with our inner critics. We also take a deep dive into developing our trust and intuition, and even how to begin to work through fear and discomfort. Cindy offers us some simple tips and strategies that we can actually begin to use today. And then she closes with a unique twist on the sage advice question. Again, something that we both really connected with. At the end of the show, Cindy offers listeners a free guide and access to a ton of helpful resources. I am laughing because by the end of the show, Cindy and I were literally buzzing from all the energy being generated between us, and I hope you get to connect with some of that too. All right. Hello. I am welcoming Cindy to the show today. Cindy, it's so nice to connect. How are you?
Hi, Kate. I am so excited to be here with you today. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you for that. My name is Sin. Hello, everybody. If you're listening, I am a psychic spiritual teacher, healing arts mentor specializing in Usui Reiki. And I'm excited to be here with you all today.
Thank you so much. And I was really excited to connect today because I'm so into healing energy and Reiki and all the stuff that people call woo-woo. So I'm really excited to connect with you today. So tell me, if you're comfortable, a little bit about kind of you and your story and how you got into energy work and healing work and Reiki. I'd love to hear more.
Yes, of course. My story really starts with being diagnosed for over a decade with anxiety and depression. And carrying that label really felt heavy at the time. I felt like I was broken in some way, or there was something that I wasn't doing right. And I was being punished in some way by the universe as to why I felt so disconnected and broken from what I was experiencing. And what I found was that medication helped until it really didn't. There were side effects of feeling lethargic and drowsy. And as a mother of 2 and a wife, My role was really to be active during that time and just really be there for my children. So that brought a lot of guilt and shame. And so it almost piled up, and it was a very heavy period in my life.
But when did you kind of start to open the doors? So it sounds like you did some kind of traditional medicine, medication. When did you kind of start to delve into the alternative world of healing? What opened those doors for you?
Yes, I was curious to explore more a natural way to navigate my symptoms. And so I just knew there was another way to attend to what I was experiencing. And so I learned about Reiki through my spiritual shop, and they actually invited me to try a Reiki session. And so my immediate thought was like, I don't know what Reiki is. It's energy. It feels very woo. I'm not sure what this is. And so I grew up in Christianity, very religious in church. And so my beliefs then were like, you don't go out exploring different things that you don't know of. So I was very afraid to even start dipping into what that really was. And it wasn't until I finally was like, I'm going to do it. I'm so tired of feeling the way that I'm feeling. I need a solution to what is going on. And so I finally decided to book my first Reiki session. And I cannot tell you, the moment I opened my eyes from that table, I was like, wait, why am I now just finding out about this?
Wow. Wow. So would you feel, now I'm so curious, would you feel comfortable kind of sharing a little bit of that first session, what you discovered and what that was like? Would you feel comfortable sharing a little bit about that?
Absolutely. When I first met my Reiki practitioner, she guided me through what the session would look like. And so you kind of base your session of that initial mini consultation. So she laid me down on the bed and she explained how, as a practitioner, she would activate the Reiki energy within her hand. And this would really just bring balance to my own internal energy, the flow of my natural mind, body, and spirit. And so as open as I tried to be, I was like, I'm just going to be open. I allow myself to receive, because that's exactly what you're told, like, be open. And so you're like, what does that really mean? And I laid there and I just set an intention for myself and connected to source. And I said, I'm open. I'm open to having a change. And that's exactly what it was. The moment I went through that experience, I woke up with so much more relief, feeling lighter, feeling at peace, and feeling almost like a connection with myself. It was almost like I was connecting with my true self after so many years of feeling disconnected, not knowing who I was. So during my session, I felt like physically tingling sensation where the practitioner was working in the area of my body, and there was an emotional release. And so that brought healing, and my life changed after that.
That's really powerful. So as you're talking, I'm really connecting. I literally had a Reiki session on 3 days ago, and I had so much energy around my head and around in my throat area that she said she could hardly get close to me. It was so kind of uncomfortable. She really works on balancing the energy, and she was talking about masculine energy and female energy and clearing energy. And I really don't know a lot about Reiki, but it was a powerful experience. So how does it work, and what is Reiki? And yeah, so tell me more, because I'm just so curious.
Of course. So Reiki was discovered by Dr. Usui in the 1920s. And really what it is, it supports and combats against stress, insomnia, burnout, and it really helps realign the body, mind, and spirit. So people have used it as a way to manage and navigate the day-to-day, because we're so busy in our day-to-day that creating space to come back to you and yourself is so important. It creates peace. And so this is how Reiki was really developed. And so many people have had amazing experiences, including myself. It has really been life-changing. So it's really an invitation to dive in deeper with your true authentic self.
Yeah, yeah. And do they touch you? Is it like massage? How is it different? How is Reiki different to kind of a traditional kind of massage? How do they differ a little bit?
Yes. So every practitioner is different, and there's different styles of Reiki actually and energy healing. So depending on the practitioner's preference, you don't have to physically touch the person to be able to access their energetic field. I personally spend 4 to 5 inches away from my client's energetic field, and I'm still able to access their frequency, their system, and assess where they might have blocks or where their chakras might be unbalanced. So a certified practitioner has the ability to activate their Reiki energy through their hands. And so the moment it starts flowing, the Reiki knows exactly where to go and where to treat. Isn't it amazing?
Wow. Wow. So it's like this is so funny because I'm a therapist and I work with people, and I work with a lot of kind of heart-centered energy, and I talk about the little I call them, we have little hearts in our palms, right? We have little hearts in our palms, and you can, if you can feel kind of the energy, if you can really tune into it. So do you take on that person's energy? Do you just like suck their energy up? And then what happens to the energy when it's, I would imagine as a practitioner, there's a lot to take on, right? If you're taking on other people's energy, how do you work that piece?
So you have no idea how many people actually think that when they come, they're like, oh my God, I've left you all my energy. And actually, what we do as practitioners is we serve as a channel for the life force energy to work through us. So when we channel Reiki energy, we're simply a channel, like a straw. It comes through us into our client. So once a session is done, different people have different energetic hygiene practices, but I like to do them before and after. I prepare my body, my spirit to serve as a channel. And you actually don't stay with energy at all. Your client's energy is theirs and yours is yours. Yes, it's incredible. As a practitioner, you actually receive a mini treatment yourself. So that's why it's amazing.
So it's kind of a win-win.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win. Oh, wow. 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 So if we can, I know you have talked about your own healing process, and I know that you work a lot with kind of healing trauma. So tell me a little bit about how has this worked for really kind of healing your trauma, and why is it so important to really kind of get in there and heal our wounds? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, of course. Healing our own trauma can be challenging because we avoid discomfort or pain, but it is exactly what we need in order to create new behaviors, new patterns in our life. And Reiki, for me and for others, has been the invitation to reconnect with your internal power, to remind you that, no, you are this powerful, and what's happening in the moment that you may be experiencing doesn't define who you are. And so what Reiki does is really, it's an invitation to connect with yourself spiritually and to get deep into, wait, what happened to me is not, it doesn't make me broken, right? For somebody who may be experiencing anxiety, right? It's getting to the root of what's causing the anxiety. And so the importance of really healing that is, wow, once you assess it, once you recognize it, you can learn to transmute that. You can learn to heal from it. And that's where the healing really begins. When you acknowledge those uncomfortable, painful moments and you're like, this is it. It almost brings like a sense of forgiveness, not only for yourself, but for others. And you learn to really create new patterns. The healing brings compassion and love and acceptance for yourself. So you learn to see the world through a different lens, a lens of life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Is there a kind of a personal example you feel comfortable kind of sharing with listeners, something from your own journey, something that, something that you had to work through that was hard and uncomfortable and scary, something that you were able to move through?
Absolutely. I have been able to move through mother-father wounds that I've been carrying for years, abandonment wounds of feeling not good enough, not loved enough, or feeling unworthy, and recognizing that certain situations that might have experienced in my life, they don't make me who I am. And throughout my adulthood, I was able to really peel away the Band-Aid and say, wow, my parents had their circumstances and they did the best they could. So that only provides an invitation for me to accept myself where I am and know that I am not my past, and that I can be the creator of my life and choose to change that at any time, but also be able to forgive my parents and not point the finger and say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you weren't able to provide this. And for me personally, that's where a lot of my anxiety was coming from. And I didn't realize it. My own intuition was trying to lead me in my life. And I kept resisting it because I didn't understand what even intuition was back then. And so it was until I connected all those dots that I was like, wow, this has been huge. Yeah.
That's so powerful. So powerful. And as you're talking, maybe we can take a moment to just take a pause and just kind of connect in from them. Because you were just glowing, right? As you share about the past, you're glowing, and it really does feel like you were clear, right? It feels like you were kind of clear on that, and that's just so powerful, so powerful. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
So, what are you noticing? As we share this, what are you noticing? What's coming up for you as you kind of share this story with me? I'm just curious, what's coming up?
I'm feeling a sense of liberation when I share my story with others. Freedom. The word peace comes up.
Yeah. And you can see that. You can see that and connect with that in your energy. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you mentioned intuition, right? Let's unpack that. What is intuition? And because I also write a lot about trusting your gut and intuition and blah, blah, blah. And people sometimes are like, intuition, what's intuition? I think that's indigestion, right? Should I try to find what is this thing? So tell us a little bit more about intuition and how we can really, because I believe we all have it, right? We were all born with this intuition, but I think over time, it's like it gets layered up with crust, right? And we lose it because we're not practicing it. So tell me a little bit about intuition and your thoughts on that.
Of course. Yes, I love this. So intuition, everybody is born intuitive. If you really take a look at children are very highly intuitive and sensitive to the environment around them. And so what happens is we are all born with our own inner guidance, our own inner light. And as we grow up, we are taught or modeled to listen to everything outside of ourselves. So our natural light, our inner guidance naturally starts dimming. We start becoming disconnected from it, or we silence it. And so we believe that everybody else knows best than maybe what our own body, our own inner wisdom is telling us. And so my biggest question is, well, how do I know what it really is? Like, how can I really connect with my intuition? I believe intuition speaks to you through your body in different ways. So some people receive their inner guidance or connected through their intuition, through their sense of hearing, through their sense of feeling, their sense of knowing, their sense of seeing through their mind's eye, and their sense of smelling, or their sense of taste. So everybody, I know we hear intuition is gut feelings, like listen to your gut. And I feel that's because when our intuition is trying to speak to us, a lot of us have that gut reaction, which feels like a nudge or like a strong sensation in our sacral, in our stomach area. But in reality, intuition speaks to us in different ways. So recognizing the way your intuition will speak to you will be key in order to continue developing and strengthening your intuitive muscle.
Wow. So I have to tell you, this is the first time I'm hearing this, because I'm all about the gut, feeling in the gut. And that's where I feel mine. That's where I feel mine first.
Okay.
So if you're hearing or you're tasting or you're kind of sensing intuition in other parts of your body, how might that show up? I mean, how would somebody know how they are using intuition? How would somebody know how they're wired for intuition, if that makes sense?
Right. So, self-awareness is key, and you can learn how to raise your self-awareness and start to learn how the environment speaks to you. So something I like to guide my students through that is pretty simple is like, go out to your favorite farmer's market and you put to practice all your physical senses, your sense of seeing, smelling, touching. And when you do this, you start activating and strengthening what clear ability is the strongest within you, because there are stronger ones and others are a little bit more dormant. So you start to recognize yourself, ooh, it feels really good to be out here in the farmer's market, and I can breathe in the spaciousness and I can feel grounded from the energy around me, right? Or, oh my God, look at all these vibrant colors. They're all so bright and there's multiple colors going on. That's strengthening your third eye, your sense of seeing. Or your sense of smell. You're smelling the environment, you're smelling the vegetables, you're smelling the different perfumes or scents that maybe others carry around you. So think of a time where you've taken like a deep inhale and that sense of smell brought you either joy or comfort, or it might have reminded you of maybe a grandmother that you might have had, right? It brings you that sense of connection with your body. So it's important to understand, well, which are my clear abilities, which is the 5 main ways your intuition speaks to you, and which one is my own way? Which one do I recognize myself in?
I love that imagery about the farmer's market. I'm just imagining, right, standing there and really kind of, for me, grounding, right, grounding through the feet, right, and just taking that breath and just kind of opening up all the senses, like taking the time to pause and look and smell and hear. And then do you just notice kind of what you're drawn to without really thinking about it? Or do you do you just kind of follow your intuition through the market, and you're picking up this, or you're tasting that, or you're avoiding something? Is that kind of how that flows?
So yes, that's one way. That's probably the simplest way that you can do. I would say set the intention to go to the farmer's market and just connect with your intuition and your senses, navigate through that day. And at the end of the day, I would sit with myself and just recap what that experience felt like. Connecting all the senses. Wow, I really felt so grounded in that farmer's market. Or wow, those visuals were really so vibrant. And you're going to start to recognize which are your strongest abilities. And then your intuition is going to become more refined. So you're going to start leaning into it, right? Most people are clairsentient, which have a strong sense of knowing things. But sometimes we tend to second guess ourselves because we're like, wait, no, there's no evidence here that tells me this, right? Or maybe you're having a conversation with someone and you're like, your intuition might be telling you something in your body and it's alerting you and nudging you. And you're like, wait, no, it doesn't make sense. And so it's so subtle. Your intuition can speak to you in many ways, but you have to be aware of the way that it communicates with you.
So I was talking with a very good friend on the phone yesterday. This theme has been in my worldview for this so strongly the last few days. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, so since teens we've known each other. She just turned 60, so we've known each other a long time. We were on the phone. She's in England. She go on the phone, super close.
she's like a sister. And she was talking about some of this healing and spiritual stuff she's been doing and energy work and yada, yada, yada. And about 2 years ago, she had an experience and it was wrong, right? So she followed the reading or the guidance and the intuition, and it actually caused her 2 years of really heartbreak and pain. So can it, and I don't, we talked that through yesterday and we kind of came up to some conclusions, but can it be wrong, right? Can our intuition be wrong, or is that just something different?
No, yeah, great question. So when our inner guidance might redirect us or send us in a different path, I always see it as there's a lesson to learn in that. And sometimes it will do that. Following your intuition doesn't mean you're always going to be 100% perfect and you're not going to experience any challenges or anything that might come in and jolt you and throw you a little bit around. It means that maybe you have to strengthen that muscle. It means that maybe ahead you're going to come across a situation that's going to require you to really have that self-trust that nobody's going to come and reassure you of, but it's going to take a lot of self-trust in you. So can your intuition be wrong at times? Yes, but I would always invite you to get curious around, ooh.
Yeah. Because intuition doesn't mean it's always going to be fun, right? It doesn't it's not always going to be kind of sunshine and puppy dog's tails, right? It could really be a challenging, bumpy road ahead.
Following your intuition has got to be one of the most inviting situations to really step into your courage and your confidence. It does not.
So let me just stop there. I just want to say that again. I want that loud and clear. Like, say that again. That's so powerful.
Intuition is an invitation to step into your courage and your confidence.
Yeah. So tell me more about that. That's yes.
Oh my gosh. You will be invited to make decisions for yourself without running them by somebody else. We're so used to, right? As, mothers, entrepreneurs, business owners, we always like to share our ideas by somebody else, and somebody may at times not see the same vision that you've been given. That creativity, that spark of mission for yourself to go out and share with the world. And that can be one of the most challenging things, because you're like, wait, what if this isn't the right thing? What if I make a mistake? What if? And so our mind starts going into these stories and creating these narratives of like, you're going to make the wrong move and that is going to be hard. And so when you're giving a spark of creativity, when you personally are giving an invitation to go out and share something in the world, it's going to require courage. It's going to require you to dive deep into your own inner trust and say, you know what, this is so much bigger than me. I have no choice but to go out and share this. And something that's coming up right now as I'm talking about this is failure. We're also afraid to fail. And failure is an invitation to redirection, right? Because if you didn't know that, you wouldn't acquire the wisdom of what might have been or what could have worked. So that's another invitation to us reframe that and say, no, this adds to your wisdom. This adds to what you're here to birth through and share.
Yeah, that's really powerful, right? So we've got courage and confidence. And I think, when we're focusing on women, right, I think that's those are so important, right? To really step into your power, right? And those two things are power feelings, right? Courage and confidence. Those are powerful feelings, especially for women. And then seeing failure as just part of the mess, right? Don't even judge failure. Don't even let's not even use the word. It's just another bump in the road. And you're right. It's just another signpost. It's just another way we can kind of guide to that next step. Yeah. I love that. And you're really smiling and nodding. So what are you feeling? What's coming up?
Because this is exactly what I've gone through many times. And it's that scary feeling, really transmuting that into excitement, because sometimes we can mistake fear and intuition, and we can say, oh no, this is my intuition telling me to be safe. But in reality, it's not. Your intuition will be uncomfortable and it will invite you into growth. Your spirit is here to evolve. So you're constantly having to challenge yourself and step out of your comfort zone. And that is your intuition, right? Because you're limitless. So I laugh because there's always the back and forth with the fear and intuition. And one thing I love about walking my students through developing their intuition is that they can learn to recognize that fear and say, oh, that's fear. It's just wanting me to stay safe and be comfortable. So I'm going to go this way and blaze forward.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. I love that you're working with those two, right? The fear and the intuition, because that fear, you're so right. We're wired, right, to stay safe and stay comfortable. And that fear can be really powerful. And when we choose intuition, it is uncomfortable, right? I feel mine in my gut, and you really do feel like you're pushing through. But you got to follow that. You've got to, as an author and a therapist and now a podcaster. And I've had to push through so many, kind of moments, but it's all been good. Really, it's all been good. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at what you've created, Kate. Like, it's amazing the work that you're doing, and you've learned to see that for yourself, right? If you would have stayed in those spaces, you would have not really gone after what you feel called to do. So amazing.
Yeah. If I had stayed in my comfy, executive big girl leadership job in the healthcare world, right, I would still be there. And not that there was anything wrong with that, but, following my gut and intuition has really led me into a very different space, and so thankful. And I wouldn't have known that. I couldn't have predicted that then where I am now, right? I just couldn't have predicted, but it's just following and showing up and following and showing up and following and showing up. And, who knows, right? You're right. We are limitless, right? We are limitless in so many ways.
Absolutely. And I want to say too, the fear will always be there. You won't be able to ever get rid of your inner critic and the fear 100%. You'll learn how to work with it. So reminding your fear, your inner critic that wants to keep you safe, your mind, that it's okay, that it can feel all the scariness, and that you're still just as powerful to move forward.
I love that. That's, I'm really resonating with that too. Like, kind of how I look at it, like fear as I think there are two kinds of fear, right? There's a big F fear, right? When there's literally a tiger at your door and you have to kind of take some action, right? Where you have no choice. And then there's little F fear, right? Which is just the general fear of the unknown and having all these questions and just not being sure, right? But it's the little F fear that we can kind of hold as just a little infant, like a little kitten or a little puppy, saying, yeah, I know you're scared. It's okay. We'll be fine. And just keep going, right? Just keep going. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you'll learn to recognize how much it gets silenced when you're like, it's okay. I see you. I feel you. But I'm the one in the driver's seat, right? So you're like, it's okay. I see you.
That's right. Yeah.
Safe, but we're still going to move forward. And that right there. Wow.
Yeah. 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 So I'm feeling in my body like a lot of excitement, a lot of power. It's just, yeah. How about you? What are you feeling? What's coming up for you?
My goodness, my heart center and my sacral chakra is just throbbing right now. So I'm feeling all this vitality, all this courage, all this excitement. So, oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Yeah. So maybe we're kind of feeding off each other too.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to take a breath here. All right. So what about some practical tools and strategies for listeners if they want to put their little toe in the pond and learn a little bit more? How might you encourage somebody to take a little next step
into developing their intuition? Or
yeah, so yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's focus on the developing intuition. What would, a little next step be for somebody to start to harness this?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. The first step, I would invite you to See yourself as a spiritual being and start seeing who you are through your spiritual eyes, not your physical eyes. So you can look in the mirror when you have a moment, connect with your breath, and start to see how really, truly limitless you are. And things you can say to yourself is, oh my gosh, I am here to create amazing things in the world. I am here to connect with my internal guidance. And you're going to start to notice the vibration in your body shift. And you're going to start to really feel and raise that vibration and see yourself in that way. And the reason I share that as a first step is because some of us try to jump into the exercises first, but they won't work unless you see yourself in that way first.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
So yeah, connecting with your breath and just getting grounded and setting an intention to be open to start connecting with your intuition. And you're going to start to see in your day-to-day how things are highlighted to you. For example, I recently went through another reawakening, and the word rest kept coming up in different ways. It kept coming through my Oracle deck. It kept coming through when I was driving, and I was talking to somebody and they were like, oh my God, I was just resting. And I was like, oh my God, it kept coming up over and over and over. And for me, that was indication of like, Sin, rest is productive. Rest is abundance. So following those steps and taking action, recognizing your intuitive gifts, and intention is so powerful in itself. So if you can set that intention to say, I am an intuitive, limitless being, I have the power to reconnect with myself, that immediately starts signaling to your mind, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. When I do this kind of work, I come from the heart space. For me, it's not a kind of a thinking cognitive thing. It's more of a kind of a heart space energy. So kind of focusing the intention, the energy on that heart space, and then coming from there, right? Dropping these questions in and really focusing on that kind of heart space energy. At least that's for me. And I'm sure there's a gazillion ways to do this. And maybe you just have to find your own, what resonates with you personally once you kind of start to practice and play a little bit with some of these tools and techniques.
Absolutely. Because if you're operating from your mind, you're going to think your way into your intuition. And so that's not really it. It's about dropping into the body, opening your heart and recognizing, okay, I'm opening my heart. That's exactly what I'm doing to receive my intuitive guidance and recognize it. So yeah, it's different for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. That is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to kind of add or share or comment on? Anything else you just feel called to add here?
Yes. Thank you for asking. Right now, a reminder is just coming through that no matter what you may be navigating or anybody listening, invite yourself to connect with your breath in this moment and just remind yourself of that internal power that you carry here in your body, of your wisdom. And reconnecting with it. Know that you have this literally at any moment of any day. You have the power to shift your energy and turn to, because it happens, we experience either low vibrational spaces or our own energy can feel depleted. So I just want to remind those listening that at any time you can raise your vibration and really connect with a higher power, with your own internal power, and breathe in that expansive space.
That's beautiful. And as you're talking that, I'm feeling some expansion in that chest area, in that heart area. So
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. So I wrap up with the final question. Any kind of, I don't know, sage advice, one piece of sage advice you might want to share with listeners before we get into the thank yous and wrapping up here?
Yes, sage is such a powerful spiritual tool, and it has different ways that you can utilize it. My favorite way is you can utilize sage to really balance your mood. It helps you really increase sleep. You wake up better, more vibrant, but overall, it helps you purify and protect energetically your own space, your own environment, right? So breaking up sage or just smoking a little bit in your own home will create so much space for you to connect with yourself, and taking a quick breather will ground you and bring you back into this present moment.
It's beautiful. And again, that's fantastic sage advice. And I have to say, I'm a big sager. So I sage my office, I sage my home, I sage myself, sage, right? I'm a big sager. So yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. Wonderful. So thank you so much. It's been just such a heartfelt, powerful conversation today. I'm really, I really feel touched that we were able to connect. So thank you. Where can people find you? Where can people learn more about you?
Thank you, Kay. I have enjoyed this conversation as well. And thank you for asking. If you absolutely love this episode and would love to learn more of connecting with your own internal power and your powerful intuition, you can actually reach out to me over at Instagram at Uncommon Healing. Message me the word intuitive activator. What I'm offering right now currently is a mini digital pocket guide for yourself, where you can learn to recognize the different ways your intuition speaks to you. It comes with a powerful energetic reset that you can do in your own home on your own time. And then it gives you different ways that you can identify the patterns in the way your intuition speaks to you, and how to quiet an overactive mind in 15 minutes or less. I would love to connect with you. Come say hi. If you want it, just message me, Intuition Activator, and it's all yours.
All right. So I have actually just followed you on Instagram. So thumbs up for me. And I will put links in the show notes to you and everything about you. And I would really encourage listeners to jump on. She's got a whole link tree there with some great resources as well. So definitely check Cindy out, and yeah, kind of practice and play, and see what you can learn.
Tap into your creativity, allow your gifts to come through. I am so excited to see those of you just really harness your intuitive gifts and all the things. So thank you, Kate. It was so amazing being here with you today.
Thanks so much for listening. I truly appreciate you and your time. I love to hear from listeners, so connect with me at katechampionauthor.com. Remember to grab your free hiking guide, and please take a quick moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. Thanks so much. Take care. Until next time.